Hey, welcome back. This is Terry Jordan Adams, and I am your host of Sued by the Debt Collector. Today, we are going to start with a story, and in this story, there was a natural disaster that had happened, and everything was flooded. The streets were flooded. The houses were flooded. All the belongings inside the houses were flooded. Cars were floating down the street, except for the ones that were abandoned on the side because the engine had taken on water, and so they stalled out. And there was no power anywhere. Well, there was this man. He was sitting on top of his roof. Clearly, he had gotten up there to try to escape the disaster of the water, but he was soaking wet. He was so cold. He had no shoes on. He was shivering. He was so cold. Well, after a while of being up there, suddenly a rowboat came by. And the guy in the rowboat said, "Hey, come on down. I'll take you to safety. I'll row you to safety." But the guy on the roof, he was afraid. And he said, "No, I'm afraid to come down." And the guy in the rowboat could not persuade him. So he left and he went to help someone else. Well, then a jet ski came by. And the guy in the jet ski said, "Hey, come down. You can hop on the back of my jet ski. I will take you to safety." And again, the guy said, No, I'm afraid. I'm afraid." Well, and then finally, cruise ship came by, and they took a life preserver and they threw it in the water, and they said, "Hey, get in the water and grab a hold of the life preserver and we'll bring you aboard our ship." And again, the guy says, No, I'm afraid to come down. I'm afraid to come down." And so they couldn't convince him either. So again, they left. And he watched the cruise ship fade into the sunset. So now, at this point, he's been on top of the roof for hours. And not only was he wet and cold, but now he's hungry and he was dehydrated. He was so thirsty, and his feet were like icicles. But no one else came. So then he began to call out to God. "God, why have you left me? Why have you left me, God?" And God answered him and said, "I sent you a rowboat. I sent you a jet ski. I even sent you a cruise ship. And you did not grab a hold." So, why did I tell you this story? I am glad you asked. The hardest part of being an advocate for Sued by the Debt Collector is trying to get people to grab a hold because they're afraid. Their fear has paralyzed them, and I don't know, maybe they think that it's going to go away, but it's just such a devastating situation. People are too afraid to move and don't even realize that, they're being led to safety. But with that being said, Sued by the Debt Collector is designed for people that are facing debt collection lawsuits and plan to represent themselves but need some how-to information and maybe some direction. We drop new episodes every week, and you can catch us on Google and Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or just go to your favorite podcast channel. And don't forget, we are now on YouTube, so you can find us at Sued by the Debt Collector Podcast on our YouTube channel. And just make sure you like and subscribe and follow us, because we're trying to share awareness. So now, with that being said, back to our episode. So in my position, I have different resources that represent the rowboat, that represent the jet ski, that represents the cruise ship. But none of that matters if I can't get people to grab a hold. so that I can lead them to safety. So let's talk about what happens if people are not led to safety. What that looks like is in the form of a judgment, wage garnishments in particular. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about wage garnishments. Um, Look, I understand that this whole being sued situation, quite frankly, it sucks. Okay? But it will suck a lot less if if you don't get your wages garnished. So it's time for us to make some lemonade. Anyway, so what this path looks like is first the debt collector or the debt buyer, they file the lawsuit with the court. After they file the lawsuit with the court, then they have to serve you with the paperwork. And the paperwork can come by sheriff. A sheriff can come and serve you paperwork. A process server can come and serve you the paperwork. And sometimes you can even receive it in the mail. That happens usually when they try repeatedly to get you served and it just isn't working. And so, they send it via mail. So that can happen. But then once you've been served, you have 30 days to respond to your lawsuit if you're in the state of California, right? If you're in another state, province, whatever your jurisdiction is, you want to make sure to check in with those laws and rules and regulations because every place is a little bit different. So you always want to make sure to touch base with what your local laws are. So anyway, so if you don't respond within the allotted time, what happens is the debt collector goes to the judge and requests a default judgment, and the judge grants it. Okay, so once you get that default judgment, well, now they can garnish your wages, they can raid your bank account, they can give you a property lien, right? So, holy cow, oh my God, what happens next? So let's say that, the default judgment is granted. Now what? Well, they have to let you know that if they're moving forward to have your wages garnished, they have to let you know. So what the debt collector does is they send the judgment over to the garnishment over to your job. And on the job, they can take up to 25% of your paycheck after taxes. Okay, so let's calculate. We're going to use simple numbers. We're going to use $100. So let's say you got paid $100 on your paycheck. And let's say the taxes that they took out was $20, right? So they took $20 out. That left you with $80. Well, now the wage garnishment says that they can have 25% of that. So that's another $20, right? So now you're down to $60. But wait, you may have other deductions. You may have insurance, medical, vision, dental. Excuse me. You may have retirement coming out, or there could be some other deductions that you're having to. It could be union dues, any of that. So let's say they took your taxes, they took their 25%, and now the other deductions come out. And let's just call that another $20. So now that's $60 taken from the 100. That left you with $40 to live on. Well, you have rent or mortgage to pay. You have food to buy. You have utilities. You need clothing if you need clothing. And do you think that remaining $40 is going to be able to take care of your basic needs? I think not. So, what else does a wage garnishment affect? Excuse me, I got a tickle in my throat. Well, when they send notification to your job, now they put you in a position where you're embarrassed or humiliated because now the people that you either work with or work for have been made privy to your situation. And they don't know whether it's true or untrue. They don't know the details of anything of what has happened. But, they're going to form an opinion. They're going to think that you're not responsible and not trustworthy. And so you have to deal with that. Not to mention that they can hire a sheriff to bring it to the job instead of mailing it. So that's just another level of embarrassment. It's horrible. Well, and then what happens next? Well, now you've got all this emotional chaos. You're stressed out. You're kind of a basket case because things don't feel good and they don't look good. And now you have to figure out, how do you fix your situation? Now, a judgment is expensive because you don't just pay for the debt or the alleged debt, but now you're also looking at having to pay for their attorney's fees and cost and any other things that's associated with it. And now with the judgment, it can last up to 10 years or until it's paid off. So what happens if it reaches year 10 and it expires and the debt's not paid off? Yeah, you're right. They go back to the judge and they ask to renew the judgment. And the judge renews the judgment. Right? So, it feels like it's never going to go away. And so you have to work your whole life around something that you could have worked out and just been led to safety. Okay? So now let me give you, Sued by the Debt Collector, what our rowboat looks like, our jet ski looks like, our cruise ship looks like. So our rowboat gives you free education through our podcast, through our YouTube channel, through our Instagram channel, through our website. All you have to do is follow us, subscribe or click the like button, ratings. That doesn't cost you a thing. And there's information and education there for you. That's your rowboat. Don't ignore the resource that's there. And now we also have a jet ski. Well, this is what our jet ski says. Our jet ski says, text us the word consult, CONSULT, to 877-505-0618. And we will give you a free consultation. So we'll kind of assess your situation. We'll look at how much time you have and what you're working with. And, maybe we'll be able to help you to lead you to find out what kind of action is going to best serve you. But you have to text us. Consult. 877-505-0618. And then our cruise ship. Our cruise ship is our emergency course. That provides structure, it provides foundation, and it takes you through the journey of getting to safety. S.A.P, the Sued Acceleration Program, that will take you through the journey of getting to safety. Don't be like the man on the roof and then yell out later, God, why have you not helped me? Why have you left me? And he sent the resources for you, but you didn't grab a hold. I put a post on Instagram, and the post said, time wasted is expensive. Don't let procrastination cost you. Let me say it again. Time wasted is expensive. Don't let procrastination cost you. I hope this episode helps you to grab a hold. And I wish for everyone to be safe and victorious. And don't let the jet ski and the rowboat and the cruise ship sail off into the sunset without grabbing a hold and being taken to safety. This is Terry Jordan Adams, and I am your host of Sued by the Debt Collector. Thank you for joining me today. If you're new, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Please like and subscribe. And be sure to follow us on YouTube and your favorite podcast channel. And make sure you access those Rowboat resources. We'd love to have you. And now we will see you in the next episode. Take care.